The mysterious disappearance of a Swedish family on Christmas night, 1984. On Christmas night of 1984, an entire family mysteriously vanished in a remote village in northern Sweden. This event became one of the most unsettling and puzzling disappearances, leaving behind a trail of questions and fears that have never been fully answered. Despite extensive investigations, no traces of the family were ever found, and there was no evidence of foul play. The disappearance remains one of the most eerie mysteries in Swedish history, with many still wondering what could have happened that cold, silent night. It was a peaceful Christmas Eve in the small village, a picturesque place nestled deep in the snowy landscapes of northern Sweden. The kind of village where everyone knew each other, and life seemed to move slowly and predictably. The houses, with their warm lights glowing against the cold night, seemed like scenes out of a postcard. Snow blanketed everything, transforming the village into a winter wonderland. Inside the Svensson family's home, preparations for Christmas were in full swing. The family of four, Eric, the father, his wife Ingrid, their teenage daughter Elsa, and young son Lucas, had been busy throughout the day decorating their Christmas tree, arranging presents under it, and preparing a festive dinner. The house was filled with the sounds of laughter and joy, as it should be on Christmas Eve. But by the morning, everything had changed. When the sun rose on Christmas Day, the village was quiet. The snow had fallen heavily overnight, leaving a thick blanket that muffled all sound. It was a stillness that, in retrospect, seemed almost too perfect. As the first few villagers began their morning routines, they noticed something unsettling. The Svenssons' front door was wide open. The lights inside their house were dim, and there were no signs of life. Curious, one of the neighbors, who had been close to the family, walked over to check on them. But as he stepped inside the home, he was met with an eerie silence. No one was there. The Christmas tree still stood in the corner, perfectly decorated, and presents lay scattered on the floor, but there were no signs of the family. It was as though they had simply vanished. The neighbor immediately called the local authorities, and soon, the police arrived to investigate. The initial investigation revealed that nothing seemed to be out of place. There was no sign of forced entry, no signs of a struggle, and most perplexing of all, no sign that the family had left. The furniture was undisturbed, and even the food that had been prepared for the Christmas dinner was untouched. The fire in the fireplace had long since gone out, but there was no indication that anyone had left in a hurry. The house was locked from the inside, and nothing appeared to be missing. The police combed the area surrounding the house, but they found no clues as to where the family might have gone. The village was remote, and the nearest neighbors were miles away. The only thing that stood out was the strange, unnerving silence of the village itself. There were no signs of struggle, no unusual footprints in the snow, and no indication that anyone had been taken. The investigation was quickly expanded to include the surrounding forests and nearby towns. The authorities questioned every villager, trying to piece together any possible leads, but no one had seen or heard anything unusual on Christmas Eve. It was as though the Svenssons had simply disappeared into thin air. As days turned into weeks, the mystery deepened. The family's belongings were found in their home, their cars were still parked in the driveway, and their personal items were neatly arranged. There was no ransom note, no demand for money, and no evidence of violence. The only thing that seemed out of place was the family's sudden, inexplicable absence. The case became a nationwide mystery, with people all over Sweden speculating about what might have happened. As the weeks went by, various theories began to emerge. Some suggested that the family had been victims of a kidnapping, though no evidence pointed to that theory. Others believed they had fled the country, but the fact that no trace of them was found anywhere led investigators to reject that possibility. There were even wilder theories. Some speculated that the family had fallen victim to an alien abduction, while others suggested they had somehow entered another dimension or parallel world. The strange nature of their disappearance, the fact that no one saw anything unusual, no one heard anything, and no traces of the family were left behind, led to a range of bizarre ideas. One of the most persistent theories was that the family had somehow become involved in something supernatural. There were whispers among locals that the Svensson house had been built on land with a dark history, and some believed that the family had been cursed. Stories of strange occurrences and eerie happenings in the area had been told for generations, but they were usually dismissed as folklore. Another theory that gained traction was that the Svensson family had become the victims of a strange and elaborate hoax. But why would anyone go to such lengths to make it look as though an entire family had disappeared without a trace? No one could explain it. Despite the growing speculation, the authorities found nothing that could explain the Svenssons' disappearance. Their case remained unsolved, and as the years passed, the mystery faded from the public eye, though it remained etched in the minds of the villagers and those who had followed the story closely. Years later, in 1998, a documentary crew visited the village to investigate the Svensson case. They spoke to the few remaining villagers who still remembered the eerie events of Christmas 1984. Some claimed that they still heard strange noises coming from the Svensson house late at night, while others said they had seen fleeting shadows or figures moving inside the house when no one was there. The crew also spoke to the Svenssons' remaining relatives. Their grief had never fully healed, and their questions about what had happened to their loved ones remained unanswered. The police had long since closed the case, but the mystery of the Svensson family's disappearance continued to haunt them. In a bizarre twist, in 2003, a local hunter discovered a series of strange footprints leading deep into the forest near the Svensson house. The footprints seemed to be human, but they didn't match the shoes of anyone in the village. They led to a clearing, where a peculiar object was found, a faded Christmas card, lying face down in the snow. The card was addressed to the Svensson family, but there was no return address. The message inside was simple: "We are watching." This discovery reignited the mystery, and the village once again became the focus of media attention. However, the truth behind the disappearance of the Svensson family remained as elusive as ever. Some believed it was the work of a stranger, while others thought it was the work of something far more sinister. To this day, no one knows what happened to the Svensson family. Theories continue to abound, from supernatural explanations to more practical, but equally baffling, ideas. Did the family leave on their own accord, or were they taken against their will? Was it the work of a serial killer, or did they simply vanish without a trace for reasons no one can comprehend? The disappearance of the Svensson family remains one of Sweden's most chilling mysteries. The village, once full of life and laughter, is now a quiet, haunted place, where the shadow of that Christmas night still lingers. No one will ever know the full story behind their disappearance, but the mystery of what happened to the Svensson family that fateful night continues to fascinate and terrify anyone who hears it. In a world where even the most meticulous investigations cannot always solve the deepest mysteries, the Svenssons' disappearance remains a story that will be whispered for generations to come. It is a reminder that sometimes, the answers to the most puzzling questions may never be found, leaving only the chilling echoes of unanswered mysteries.